Are you dreaming of opening a B&B in Mexico? This is something my wife has dreamed about, is opening a B&B, and it's not really in our future in Mexico, but I wanted to cover this topic because there are a lot of small B&Bs here, and also there are a lot of folks who are doing Airbnb. So that's what I wanted to cover in this video. First, the traditional B&B and a little bit of what it's like to run an Airbnb. Now, this video is a little bit different than my regular video because I did have a problem with one of my cameras. The good news is I have audio from the whole interview, but some of the video did cut out. So you're going to be hearing all the wonderful information that you need to know. But for part of the video, you're just going to be seeing a lot of video of the actual Casa Kootenay, which is where we're shooting this video today. So stick with it. It's definitely worth the watch and listen. So I have with me Leanne, who is a real live bed and breakfast owner here in La Paz, who's going to give us all the good, the bad, the better, the ugly about running a B&B, and a little bit also about if you want to just do a straight Airbnb. We're going to talk about that today. So maybe you can start with just telling folks your story, your background, and how important it is to have your background.
Okay, so I spent many years working on dive boats and working with vacationers, travel vacationers. Before that, I worked with young offenders who were very resistant. So when I decided to stop working on liveaboards and find another adventure, I knew I still wanted to deal with travelers and vacationers. I believe that their energy, somebody that's on holiday, is an amazing energy to absorb, and I love kind of being there, offering them what they need, anticipating their needs, and making sure that they have a good holiday, the best holiday they can have. So,
yeah, and that's interesting. So the little secret into my background is I used to work for Disney World when I was in college, and yeah, there's this certain energy that vacationers have that is I don't know, it's wonderful, and being around that is great. So how important is that though? To have your background and having some hospitality background if someone's thinking about starting a B&B?
Well, I think because I spent so many years hosting vacationers and being able to provide for them, I think when I decided another adventure that I wanted to do, it just kind of fell into place.
It's built into your personality.
Yeah,
is
kind of,
that
yeah.
This is yes.
Yeah.
So if someone had never hosted, like my wife was like, oh my God, it'd be so great to be an Airbnb or to be a B&B host. Do you have ideas, thoughts about that?
Yep, I say as long as you love people, as long as you're okay with having very little personal space, and as long as you know how to balance your personal life with your work life, because they can blend really easily.
Well, great. Let's transition a little bit into like the space here. Let's talk about your personal space versus the guest space. But let's start with the guest space because behind me we have four guest rooms.
4 guest rooms, correct.
And there's also 2 pools, a waiting pool. What else do we have here on the property?
We have a clubhouse just over there that's right in front of the water. We're one of the only waterfront bed and breakfasts in La Paz, so that's pretty special for us. With a breakfast service in the morning, we also offer water sports, paddleboards, kayaks, windboards. We offer bikes that are available, snorkel gear, beach gear like umbrella and cooler if you're going out for a beach day, and a really gorgeous garden space, as well as a rooftop terrace that has under 180-degree view of the bay. So, and then we're all wrapped up in a nice enclosed space, so kids can't get out without knowing there's no really noise from the beach and stuff like that. So we feel like kind of resortish.
Yes, and I love the feel here. And actually, so we are now in the courtyard between the clubhouse and the guest rooms because it is a really windy day here. So we're recording this in December, and you can see here winter jackets because it's a little cool. It's like, I don't know, 70 degrees maybe. So cold by local standards.
Cold by local standards.
Yes, exactly. The guests are walking around in bikinis. So, but it is great. I just love this space here. And you do have some resident turtles, I understand, out front. So those guys can't get away either.
Correct.
I probably have mentioned in my videos, in the city of La Paz, there are almost no beachfront lots. The Malecón goes along most of it, and there's very few private lots that
Right.
are beachfront.
Yeah,
So
it's like military bases, hospital usage, the mangroves take up a good component of it. So yeah, it's very hard to find accessible beachfront.
yeah, so this is unique in that you have this here. You can probably see this place in a couple other videos that I have. One is with Ian talking about real estate in La Paz. You can find that up here. And another is about the Serpentario, which is just around the corner. I think I also popped out to the beach, and it's probably in the background there. So
Nice.
it's very central here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really not far from the Malecón. How far are we from, how much of a walk is that?
Yeah, from here to the Malecon, you cannot get there from the beach itself because there's a military base in the way. But we have a great bike path that starts like a block from my house and it goes all the way to the Malecon. So it's really easy to follow. It takes me about 23 minutes to walk to the Malecon. I tell guests that it probably takes them about 30 because they're like, oh, look at this, look at that. So, and if you grab the bikes, it's about a 5-minute bike ride. There's Uber, Didi, InDriver, taxis. Those are all about 4 or 5-minute drives to the Malecon. So
And super cheap.
Super cheap.
Amazingly cheap.
Yeah. And so we're really accessible to the Malecon, but we got the nice, quiet residential area that we're in.
So you started this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us, and especially people who are thinking like, oh, maybe I want to do this. Like, what did it take to get this business going? Yeah, let's start there with getting it going and including the business side of things.
Okay. Well, I have no experience purchasing property or anything like that before, so I can't compare what it's like from one perspective to the other. I know that it took me a lot of time to research and, of course, to learn the language because all of the laws I needed to learn were in Spanish. So I did get some help from people that could kind of guide me through the system and through the process of learning what I need to do. What's interesting and what you have to have patience with is that the laws are always changing here. What your accountant tells you or what your advisor tells you could change within a week or a month. So you're never going to get a right one path because the government just keeps changing it. So they are constantly feeding you more information. And that sometimes you're just like, you don't really know which way to go. But once you realize that it's fluid and you just got to take it step by step, it's kind of nice to set yourself up and then have just a rhythm and know that you're doing everything you need to do for a successful and correctly created business.
Great. So that reminds me, I have a video, which is an interview with Blanca, and she's a fixer here in La Paz. So she's a local La Paz resident. She has a law degree and a banking background, so she can really help with all that stuff. When I just interviewed her, she talked about how much things change. And with the new administration, the new mayor came in this summer and, switched out all the staff. And she said something where it normally would take a day, took 3 weeks because the new person didn't have the stamp with their name on it. So just stuff like that happens down here, and having someone local who also is a straight shooter who will tell you not like, oh, mañana there'll be a stamp. Mañana they can say like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. This is going to be a month-long process and not just kind of tell you what you want to hear. So I will link to that video at the end because if you do want to go forward with this process, you're probably going to want someone to help you, someone local who understands all of this great stuff.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your, like the businessy side of things. How complicated is it as a Canadian? Are you a Mexican citizen or are you?
I know I'm a permanent resident.
You're a permanent resident. Okay. So you're from Canada. You came to Mexico and you wanted to start a business.
Right.
What does that look like?
Right. With the business, you can set up basically in 2 different ways. You can do a property management or you can do a bed and breakfast. I chose a bed and breakfast because I wanted to live and be in my environment. I didn't want to deal with it from far away. Living here, setting up is learning all of the steps that you need to meet the government requirements. And then it turns into a natural beat. And when it comes to following their laws, every year you renew your business license. When you pay taxes, you fall under umbrellas, and my umbrella is that I have to pay every 2 months. I have to do like a year end that we would know as a year end every 2 months, and that just turns rhythmic, and it doesn't feel very overwhelming. One thing that is very interesting is that here in Mexico, the Mexican government needs a Mexican factura to be able to claim it as an expense. So if you are, let's say if I was buying something from Amazon Canada, I wouldn't be able to claim it as an expense because Amazon Canada will not offer me a Mexican factura. So there's those kind of little things that you figure your way around to make tax time a little bit easier. But it's not overwhelming. It's just time consuming.
Yeah, and that's actually the Factura is a great point. When I first moved down here and didn't understand this whole Factura thing, I would go to local home improvement stores and buy stuff, and they would ask me if I wanted a Factura or a Recibo or like a receipt or a Factura. And I was like, well, I don't quite understand what was the difference. And I think there was a lot of confusion because I was like, well, yeah, I definitely want this Factura. And they're like, well, then what's your RFC number? But the gist is that the Mexican government has a lot more rules in place. You can't kind of fake your expenses down here because they keep track of your expenses on their side. So it is a little bit different, but not necessarily difficult, I think.
Correct. Yeah.
You just need to know. You just need to be able to understand what the people are talking about.
Yeah, and know what you need to file, what you need to file for, and then it's child's play. I create my own facturas online. I just get the regular receipt, and then once a month I'll sit in front of the computer, get all my facturas that I need online, and just file when needed. So
let's get into some of just the running of a B&B, especially in Mexico.
I'm from Edmonton, Alberta.
You're from Alberta. Okay. So as a Canadian moving down to Mexico and saying like, hey, I'm going to run a business hosting guests.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about what that really looks like.
What that really looks like. It's very time consuming. It's a lot of time management and problem management, and it's a lot of relying on help. I have a lot of contract workers. I hire people that specialize in certain areas of work, and they help me get through every day. Yeah.
Yes, I noticed you have a couple of local women working here. So you have help. Are they contract people who kind of?
They are contract workers. I think when you run a business in Mexico, you can hire employees or you can hire contract workers. And because my business is so small, I have the benefit of just hiring professionals to do a job, and it's a huge help. When I first started, I did it all myself, which is doable. But when I talk about the balance of life and work, it's a huge help.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you do actually here? Because you had someone cook our breakfast, our wonderful breakfast this morning, and I see someone who's doing some cleaning around here. So what is your role? You had breakfast with us, which was wonderful and was fun, just getting to chat, and you're a great local guide.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's not just all fun.
Right. So a typical day in the life of kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
So when the chef is not here, I'm also making the breakfasts, but I really enjoy sitting with my guests and being able to idea share and talk about kind of what their needs are here and share with them where they want to go, connect them with the local atmosphere. After you go, I'll be dealing with laundry, sending laundry off to the laundry cleaner. I'll be reviewing the menu and checking the grocery list and going grocery shopping because it's discount on fruit and vegetables day.
Yes, it's Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday, Wednesday. Are those 2 days? Yes, I've heard of this. I didn't realize this, but someone actually told me that Tuesday and Wednesday are the really busy days at the supermarket.
Exactly.
So
and they're really good prices, so you gotta aprovecha. Then I would come home and I would check reservations, answer inquiries, do kind of the computer side of it, check what's going on with the marketing. Then of course I would take some time for myself. I do some exercise, review the garden because it's a little bit of a windy day, so I want to make sure the dust and everything is good. That is the same time that check-ins come, so I wait around and receive guests, offer them their room, show them kind of a local orientation so they know where things are. and what they need. And by then it's supper time. And,
Yep.
that's the day. Then I open, the clubhouse is open at night as well, just to answer any questions and stuff like that. And then I just visit.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the day.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. Well, okay. So let's maybe talk about the personal separation stuff. So behind me here are the 4 guest rooms,
Right.
but in front behind you is
Yes.
your bedroom.
Personal quarters.
The guests have their own kitchen that they can use, but then there's the main kitchen that you or your chefs use.
Right.
So yeah, so you have just, what does your part of the house look like? Do you just have like your tiny little bedroom, or is there more?
I do have a humongous bedroom fit for a queen, with a huge bed and big bay windows to the water. I've got a little fridge in there, my desk, huge. I mean, you guys don't need to know about that, but it's very comfortable.
Yeah, well, that's great to have that space.
It is.
To be able to have your personal space.
It is, yeah. And there's times when I just feel like I'm talked out. I just feel like I can't give what I need to give. So I just put myself in my room and have my alone time, watch a movie, play on the computer. And everybody here I know is comfortable. They have what they need to be comfortable, and I'm taking my own space.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Nice.
I'll pack up my dog and we'll head to the beach for the day. And we know that the guests have what they need to be comfortable. And we come back and they're in the pool partying. They're doing whatever they need. So it's great. It's a great balance.
So this is a great transition into how much are you stuck connected to this place? Like, do you get a vacation?
Yes, I think I'm connected to this place as much as I want to be. I struggle personally. This is a personal struggle that not everybody will experience, but I struggle finding managers that want to work. And it's just because I don't have a large repertoire of people with those skills.
Yeah.
So I go on vacation. When I go on vacation, I close the business if I want to, or I find a manager that runs it while I'm not here. My goal is to create this place as its own machine that can generate itself without me, to give myself more time as I'm getting older. But I do enjoy my environment. I enjoy living on the water. I enjoy paddleboarding. So there's a lot of times that I'm home hanging out with my guests, doing what they're doing because that's what I enjoy to do. When I want to take my dog away, I'm very comfortable that I can take her away.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's something you're interested in doing, or your viewers are interested in doing, they can create it to meet their needs.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people choose property rental where they're not there at all, and they just have a property manager that manages their house. A lot of people purchase here and don't stay the whole year. In Mexico or in the Baja, you don't really leave your house unattended, right? So you have a property manager that is checking on it and doing the rentals for you if you want to offer that service. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that our property manager offered. And it's Augustine. He just lives down the street from us, comes by multiple times a week, and he does maintenance stuff too, which is great. But yeah, if we wanted to do that, he could let guests in and kind of manage it from down here. We just choose not to because it's easier not to. And plus,
it's your personal needs, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just have a little casita in our house. We're in it the whole winter, so it's the time that people want to be down in the Baja. Right. Yeah, how was this summer? Like, because summer here is hot. I was here a number of times this summer, and it was hot. So how was this summer? Because this is like pandemic getting a little less maybe summer and versus a normal summer here.
Right. So that's interesting to ask because this summer I did both things. I left and rented it as a vacation rental, and then I came back and ran it as a bed and breakfast. For me, much more fun living here, running it as a bed and breakfast. For me, knowing that my guests are cared for and comfortable and have what they need is so much better than living somewhere else and going, oh, I hope they're okay.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I'm a bed and breakfast girl, but running it as a vacation rental was kind of easy because my free time was my free time. So I did spend a lot more time at my personal beach out that way. So So benefits in both. It just depends on your character, I think.
Yeah, and I've seen a number of people who are buying houses here with the intention of retiring down here, and I fully encourage you to move down here before you retire, but of buying a house with the intention of renting it out for a number of years.
Right.
And that is an option.
Right.
So yeah, there's definitely, I think the rental market is tight here. There's a need for these units, either travelers or for locals to stay. So there are options if you want to go that direction.
Yeah.
So let's talk money. Like, can you get into the black? Like, is it like, is it worth it? I guess you have just 4 rooms. Right. Like, can you Yeah.
Yes. So
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that weird thing, like you're trying to talk about money with someone you just met this morning, and you're like, I just want to ask you, like.
When I first started here, obviously I was investing a lot into getting it to where I wanted it to go. Now that I'm here, I've created a lifestyle where it's like I have my own job. I'm working, I'm paying myself, and when I want, I'll pay myself less and reinvest into the property for some large adjustment or for some large maintenance project or stuff. Because I'm living the lifestyle I want to live here. For me, I mean, I'm in the black. I couldn't imagine making it through the pandemic if you weren't. And I think it's a smart business brain to be in the black.
Yes.
So yeah, it works for me. And I think it could work for anybody that knows what lifestyle they want and adjust themselves accordingly. Like if you live extravagantly, or if you want to fly home every month, maybe you'd have to adjust what you're doing here to make that happen for yourself.
Yeah. Cool. Let's talk about Airbnb real quickly. Like, what's the difference, and what do you if someone wants to be an Airbnb host?
Okay.
What can you tell them?
For Airbnb, and I haven't read their mission or their philosophy or anything like that, but from what I understand, you're renting your apartment, you're renting your home or your bedroom or your home, right? So that to me is 2 avenues. It could be somebody that's remote and has a property manager dealing with their Airbnb. I believe that it could become quite fluid for you once you set up your communication with your property manager, your maintenance plan with your property manager, your inventory plan with your property manager, and then you set up with Airbnb kind of how the intake, the reservation, the deposit, all that. And once that's all set up, it could be a quite fluid situation for you. When you're in the home at an Airbnb, there's so many different levels. There's people that are like, here's the room, enjoy yourself. There's people that are like, here's the room, come hang out with us, we're doing this. It's all different levels. So again, what's great about Airbnb is you can really decide what level you want. I chose the bed and breakfast avenue because I wanted guests to feel more of a resort hotel atmosphere in a smaller environment. So that's the course I went.
So as we're kind of wrapping up here a little bit, let's give the viewers who are still thinking like, hey, this B&B thing may be good for me. What's your one big piece of advice?
My one big piece of advice would be know what lifestyle you want and then incorporate your business to meet that lifestyle so that end game is you're happy doing what you're doing. Also have a end goal, kind of have a view of how long you want this to go on, like have a completed business plan, I guess would be an easy way to say that. So you can see your future onward from the B&B as well.
Yeah. And La Paz is definitely growing. Now's a good time to get in if you're ready to do it. Hop in, but don't hop in too soon. Just make your plan first. But well, thank you so much for sharing all of this great stuff with our audience. And thank you for sticking around for this slightly strangely edited video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And as I promised, I have that video with Blanca up here. She's the fixer, and there's lots of folks like her around Mexico that can help you, whether you're starting a business or you're just buying property, help you make things move more smoothly. So if you're still thinking about B&B, head up there next, and I'll see you in the next video.